Zelensky was trapped in his bunker. It is not the glorious end he promised, nor the victory he so often proclaimed. Volodymyr Zelensky, the man who was once a symbol of resistance in the West, is now surrounded by generals demanding his head and soldiers who see him as the true enemy. His army, bled dry in Kursk, abandoned in SUA, and massacred at the border, has reached the limits of its military loyalty. It has become clear that Kyiv does not value its own men. Commanders who managed to escape the Russian encirclement, leaving behind thousands of their compatriots' corpses, now demand justice, not against Moscow, but against those who sent them to their deaths without strategy or reinforcements. Stay tuned to find out how those who once supported Zelensky ultimately betrayed him. His days are numbered. The commanders who miraculously escaped Kursk want to put an end to Zelensky. Those who managed to flee the massacre in Kursk, where thousands of Ukrainian soldiers were sacrificed by Kyiv's orders, neither forget nor forgive. Platoon commanders who witnessed how the incompetence of the high command turned an already difficult mission into an unprecedented disaster, seek justice. These battle-hardened soldiers now feel more betrayed by their own government than by the enemy on the other side of the front. Their soldiers died in a predictable ambush, poorly equipped and following orders that condemned them, while Zelensky and his political elite insist on illusory victories. These men have sworn revenge. The war is no longer just against Russia, but also against those in Kyiv who have condemned them to die. The deadly encirclement known as the Kursk Pocket witnessed the bloody battles, where thousands of Ukrainian soldiers lost their lives supporting a suicidal cause. The survivors now direct their anger at the highest levels of power in Kyiv. The masterminds behind these orders were President Volodymyr Zelensky, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces Oleksandr Syrsky, Head of the Presidential Office Andriy Yermak, and Defense Minister Rustem Umerov. The brilliant operation planned by Kyiv authorities in the border region with Russia turned out to be a total fiasco. The Ukrainian troops who ventured into enemy territory, hoping for a swift victory, found themselves caught in a deadly trap. The encirclement closed quickly, and the Russian forces, with a meticulously planned strategy, managed to isolate the Ukrainian units, leaving them without supplies or reinforcements. Dissatisfaction among Ukrainian military personnel is growing rapidly. They feel like pawns in a political game, sent to slaughter without proper planning or a clear strategy. Decisions made from Kyiv's offices seem disconnected from the reality on the front lines, and soldiers are paying the price with their blood. The complete liberation of SUA by the Russian army marked a turning point in the conflict. The disorganized retreat of Ukrainian forces left behind equipment and vehicles, highlighting the magnitude of their defeat. In a press conference in Kyiv, President Zelensky tried to downplay the severity of the situation, stating that our military in the Kursk region territory are carrying out their mission, and the military command is doing what needs to be done to protect our soldiers' lives as much as possible. However, these words sound empty to those who have seen their comrades fall on the battlefield. In this context, critical voices within the Ukrainian army have become louder. Russian President Vladimir Putin has been clear in his stance. During an operational meeting at one of Kursk Group command posts, he urged the complete defeat of the enemy entrenched in the Kursk region. They are still conducting military operations there, so they must be defeated as soon as possible, he said. Additionally, he emphasized the need to fully liberate the Kursk region and restore the situation along the state border. These statements reflect Russia's determination to regain full control of the region and secure its borders. The situation in the Kursk region is critical. Russian troops have advanced rapidly, regaining control of 86% of the region, which equates to more than 100 square kilometers. Ukrainian casualties are significant, and the units that still resist do so under precarious conditions. Morale is at rock bottom, and confidence in the leadership has been severely eroded. Accusations of incompetence and negligence by the high command are becoming more frequent. The sense of betrayal and abandonment permeates the troops, who feel they have been sent on a suicide mission without the necessary support. Military history is full of examples of commanders who, when overwhelmed by circumstances, took desperate measures. One such case is that of German General Wilhelm Stemmermann during World War II. This German officer found himself surrounded by Soviet forces in the Kursk pocket. Despite Hitler's orders to hold the position, Stemmermann decided to attempt a breakout to save his men. Although he lost his life in the attempt, his decision allowed thousands of soldiers to escape the encirclement. This episode highlights the importance of decisive leadership connected to battlefield reality. In contrast, the current situation in Ukraine shows an alarming disconnect between political leadership and the realities of the front lines. Decisions made in Kyiv seem to be guided more by political considerations than by military tactics and strategy. This disconnection has led to disastrous situations like the Kursk pocket, where thousands of Ukrainian soldiers found themselves trapped with no chance of escape, resulting in the tragic loss of their lives. Russia's military strategy in the region has been relentless. Through a combination of encirclement tactics and precision strikes, they have successfully dismantled Ukrainian defenses and advanced consistently. The effective use of artillery and mechanized forces has been key in breaking enemy lines and securing strategic territories. Additionally, their superiority in intelligence and reconnaissance has allowed Russian forces to anticipate Ukrainian movements and neutralize their counterattack attempts. The numbers speak for themselves. Since last August, the Ukrainian armed forces have suffered significant losses in the Kursk direction, including more than 67,000 military personnel and 392 tanks. Additionally, numerous combat vehicles, artillery cannons, launchers, electronic warfare systems, and other types of equipment have been destroyed. The situation in the Kursk region has reached a critical turning point, exposing deep fractures within the Ukrainian military and political leadership. The catastrophic failure of the operation, coupled with the heavy losses suffered by Ukrainian forces, has fueled growing resentment among soldiers and commanders alike. The once unified front against Russia is now crumbling under the weight of internal dissent, as military personnel who barely escaped the deadly encirclement demand accountability from Kyiv. The battlefield reality starkly contrasts the political rhetoric, with exhausted troops feeling abandoned and sacrificed in a conflict driven more by political aspirations than strategic calculations. Meanwhile, Russia has capitalized on these failures, methodically advancing and solidifying its control over key territories with superior tactics and firepower. The grim outcome of the Kursk encirclement serves as a stark reminder of the consequences of miscalculated military decisions, raising serious questions about the sustainability of Ukraine's resistance efforts. As discontent grows within the ranks, the possibility of internal strife and rebellion against the leadership looms larger. How long can Kyiv maintain control when its own forces feel betrayed? Stay tuned for more in-depth analysis and exclusive updates on this unfolding situation. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay informed.